Welcome back to my second week trying to learn conversational Hindi. I wanted to start off this week with an anecdote. I was pretty young, probably 8 or 10 years old at the time. My family was flying back probably from France, and I was sitting next to my dad on the plane, and I had a question about language. I noticed that if I knew a particular word, that it oftentimes didn't sound exactly like the one that I had learned. On paper, you have a particular pronunciation of the word, but in a practical sense, people don't really speak it that way. But I was asking my dad, do we do this in English? And he said, I don't know. And typical humor in my family, he didn't explain himself. He just kept saying, I don't know. And I finally figured it out that if you were to look on paper at the term, I don't know, and you were to teach somebody how to speak English, you would teach them to say, I don't know. But in reality, that's not how we really pronounce things. It's I don't know. So this is a good example of a practical way that language is applied in day-to-day life that does not necessarily correspond with the way that we are taught things in the classroom. A good example of this in Hindi is the term nahi. Nahi, as far as I can tell, basically means no or not or nothing, I believe. Nahi is oftentimes not really spoken clearly in sentences. So here's an example. There's a term, koi baat nahi, which I learned last year in 2019 when I was gearing up for my second trip to India. Koi baat nahi means no big deal, don't worry about it. Koi baat nahi. This is not really how it comes out in a practical sense. I came across a really cool little series by a YouTuber named Anil Mahato. He has interactions with people in the street, shopkeepers and so on, where maybe he purchases something and he'll just have this conversation with them. He has 3 different subtitles underneath of it. The first line is sort of the English, not English, but the sort of like the what I would read as the terms that they are actually saying. And then below that is a line of the Nagari translation. And below that is what it actually means written out in English. So in one of these, it kind of caught my eye that the shopkeeper said in the middle of this, that kind of 3-phrase sentence, she said, koi baat nahi, right in the middle of it. There was a phrase, koi baat nahi, and then another phrase. And I was excited because I was like, oh, I know that phrase. I know koi baat nahi. I know that means no big deal, don't worry about it. But I never really heard her say it. Couldn't hear it. I listened to that phrase over and over again, slowed it way down. I was never able to hear koi baat nahi. And finally I realized that she does say koi baat, but she never says the nahi. Here's another example of that. There's only one new phrase that I'm learning this week. It was a busy week. It was Christmas and there was a lot going on this week. So blah, 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 excuses. I know. By my husband's request, I am learning a new phrase that's meant to kind of shake off the touts, to get people to leave you alone a little bit. Sometimes they can be a bit aggressive with tourists. Ye mera pehli bar yahan pet neya. This is not my first time in India. I know what I'm doing. Leave me alone. Ye mera pehli bar yahan pet neya. 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 I'd read it as nahin hai, but that's not in reality how it's stated. And the miracle was it really worked, by the way, in this video. Isk bar kya hai? Koi baat nahi. Ye mera pehli bar yahan pet nahi hai. Kichama kichya. Mauve kichya. Namaste, mera naam Maggie hai. Tumhara naam kya hai? Bahut acha. Kapan great se bote hain? Aapse milkar kushi hui. Men excelun se Hindi sikh raha hun. And next year it'll be do, ek do. Men do salun se Hindi sikh raha hun. Men labag teen ne Hindi kasad ek din men yad karasak ta hun. Aap kaise hain? Men bilkul tikun. Aap kahan se hain? Am I what?
I even made my bed.
Oh, thank you.
By that, I mean, you know the sheet? I put the sheet so it's like flat. It's not like covering the whole bed, but it's flat, and then I put the thing over it so you couldn't see it.
Oh, okay.
It still looks like it's made though.
Oh, it still looks like it's made. Well, that's something.
I mean,
Ap kahan se hen. Men Chicago se hun. Ap kahan rete hen. Men United States men reta hun. Tum kahan kam karte hon. Men Carthage College men kam karta hun. Apne Hindi kahan se siki. Mene Hindi YouTube se siki hai. Kapne kana kalia hai. Jihan mene bas abi apna kana katam kya hai. Kya आपको भारतीय खाना पसंद है? मुझे भारतीय खाना बहुत पसंद है. क्या आप कभी भारत गए हैं?